This is kind of a big question, but it's a question that because we basically before this we're like, oh, what question should we ask today? And AJ and I both have. I think a lot of times this is asked to your friends, as opposed to just people asking you directly.
Most people don't ask me this question directly, but they ask other people that are close to me.
Totally, and that would be questions around sex. And I've even had we've talked about this in Wheels to Walking videos, but like one of the biggest questions is like, people initially are like, oh, from the waist down, his shit don't work. So like, does it involve his dick? Can he have sex? Like that's because I think that's like the end goal for a lot of guys too. They're like, must get girlfriend, must have wife, must procreate. It's literally ingrained into our DNA to like procreate and have children and all that. So it's on the forefront of a lot of people's minds when they think about that, because they're like, oh, legs, oh, dick too, oh shit, like, can he have sex? So I guess the question would be, can you have sex? And I guess that's kind of the big elephant in the room. A lot of people that are maybe just discovering the Wheels to Walking show for the first time are going to go back to the initial episodes and work their way through, probably. That's what I tend to do.
I hope so. That'd be
so
cool.
This is probably one of those big questions that people are asking. So I guess in 10 minutes, just riff on that as much as you can.
Yeah, I can do that. So the big question is, can you have sex? What they're actually asking is, can you have sex like me? And have sex like me means get an erection on your own and be able to ejaculate. That's what that means. That's what they're asking. They're asking, can you get hard and
can you feel it?
And can you come? Oh yeah, or if you can feel it.
Is it fun? Like, is it pleasurable? Maybe you can like actually squirt some cum, but like, does it feel good?
Yeah, I mean, they're just asking is like, can you do it like me, or can you do it like you used to? And some guys can orgasms, some guys can't. Some orgasm without any fluids coming out, some orgasm with fluids coming out. It just depends. Some can get hard on their own. Some can get hard with pills. Some can get hard with injections. And then you got to remember that sex isn't always a one-way street. It's a two-way street, and then you shouldn't be so lost in yourself. You need to be lost in others. So you also have a mouth that works, and you also have hands that work, and you also have like pillows you can use, and different swings you can use, and it's not just like, okay, cool, I'm gonna have sex, let me like inject my penis with a boner injection, and then let me just lay on my back, and then like a girl's just gonna ride me. Like, that would just not be cool. Like, that'd be kind of lame. But it's like,
so when you say, when people ask you, can you have sex like me? The answer would be kind of no, because
exactly. I mean,
what can you do, and what do you do? Like, in your experience, because everyone's different.
Yeah. So, for me, I found out that I could orgasm if I played with my nipples. I learned.
How'd you figure that out?
I don't know, honestly. I had my nipples pierced a couple of times, and I always liked, like,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, this is like I had it twice or three times. But
what's funny is I could totally see with your nipples pierced.
Yeah, it's like my nips gains just curling, doing curls. But yeah, that was always just because I was like a little weird, and I just liked having nipple piercings. So I like showing them off to people, like, and when people would touch them, I'd be like, ooh, that feels nice,
But those are like endogenous zones or something like that.
Erogenous. You can also, like, neck is an erogenous zone. Ears. Some people like their like hips or like the top of their legs.
Touched.
Yeah. So I found I could do that. I also personally like the injections just because they're quick. They're painless and they're quick.
What is the specific thing that you take for people out there?
It's called Trimix.
Trimix,
and you basically take a little hypodermic needle that's like the same kind that you would shoot insulin into your body. It's very, very, very small.
And you shoot it into like the base of your
so you've got two caverns that like fill with blood, and you just put it into one of those caverns. The caverns are connected, and it basically just like the chemical like causes those caverns to fill with blood.
Caverns.
Versus if you take like
These sound huge.
If you take a pill, then you gotta wait like 30 minutes to an hour, and there's no better way for your girl to lose her mood than it is to like wait 30 minutes or an hour.
You gotta time that shit.
Yeah, you also have to pretty much do it on an empty stomach, so you can't do it after dinner, and like everyone loves, dinner and going home and watching a movie and hooking up. Like that's just like what people usually do.
Yeah.
And then I'm also, I don't want to spill too many beans with anybody, but like, my hands, my mouth, toys, anything to like make her happy, because I do understand that I'm, I guess, quote unquote deficient.
That's ableist.
Relative to like guys. I mean, I think about it sometimes. I'm like, man, I wish I could still smash the way I used to. Like, I was really good at it. Like, I like, I had like stamina, I had like endurance. I was, strong. Like there was
stamina, man, and the blamina. You're liking the stamina.
And I can't do it that way anymore. But I've got someone who I love and someone who loves me, and we care about each other. And it's made me a great communicator. And it's made me be, I think, a less selfish person in the bedroom. I think a lot of guys are naturally like, oh, when I'm done, it's done. But that's not the truth. It's definitely like a
two-way street.
It's a two-way street, and it's not always like one for one. Like we can just keep going. We can have fun. And since most people have what, like cowgirl, missionary, doggy, and that's it. Baby blowjob, that's kind of like what most people's like sex recipe is, and then they just do it in different places. Oh, we're gonna do it in a hotel, or oh, we're gonna do it on the couch instead of the bed, or they just like mix it the places.
We'll spice it up and do it in the kitchen.
Yeah, sure. But like I don't really have those options, so I got to get real creative. And luckily, again, I've got a fucking phenomenal partner who's just super cool and super open to we just like explore and try to find what we like the best. And that's really special because there's a lot of trust involved, and anyone who's been in love and been in a romantic relationship, trust is very, very, very important.
Yeah.
And communication is very, very, very important. So the fact that we can communicate really well, and the fact that we trust each other really well is like, it's awesome.
Do you think a lot of people with disabilities are like, especially people who are limited in dexterity and limited in function and stuff like that, like physically, do you think a lot of them are sexually frustrated or like, I mean, that's kind of a dumb question because
well, there's some people that can't even like masturbate on their own.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, there's some people that like for sure.
They can't even know if they want to.
Yeah. They can't finish at all. They couldn't get up on their own. There's some people that just kind of give up. There's some people that are, I mean, I'm fortunate enough, lucky enough that I created myself into a person who was attractive enough to be in a relationship. And I don't just mean physically attractive. I just mean like a well-rounded human being.
Someone who another person is like, oh, this person is a person that I would want to spend time around.
Regardless of he's in a wheelchair.
Regardless of sexual or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there, yeah.
I mean, shit, I want to be friends with you,
Cool. And I think
cool. I want to be friends with you too.
Yeah. And then I think about like there's both guys and girls that are kind of like involuntarily celibate, I guess. There are
incels, if you will.
Yeah. So they're
like butters.
Like butters. And then there's that. I mean, that's a huge.
That's a
people
big,
don't
think
people with disabilities are sexual, like they're sexual beings. Like I think about people that are like have congenital issues, or people that were born, or people that have some type of degenerative disease, or people that are just not seen as sexual objects anymore.
Well, you talked about it. Your mind is your biggest sex organ.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I mean it in the sense of like other people's perceptions,
Totally, yeah.
And sometimes it's like
but other people are perceiving people with disabilities to not be sexual, but it's like, dude, they still got brains that work perfectly fine.
Exactly. And I think...
And they still got sex drive. They still like want to, be intimate with somebody. Do you think it's like, you talk about like the basic human needs. You've got like food, shelter, water, blah, blah, blah. Like where does sex fall into that? Like with everyone, I mean, like, is it something that you need to have?
If you go down deep into the root of your brain, I mean, it's evolution. Procreation is evolution. Totally. And, you got to eat and have sex. That's literally it. And a place to survive, like shelter. So like in your most reptilian spaces, I think sexuality is very, very important.
When you first got injured, like, obviously, like being a newly injured spinal cord injury
messed me up
person,
so
dude, like I'm sure
ruined my confidence. I was
because you're like, I don't even want to go talk to girls or anything because like what's the point? Like I can't even like get it up, like my shit don't work, like
couldn't get it up, couldn't finish. I was on antidepressants. I hated my body. I had major body dysmorphia, I think, before I even got hurt too. I was bodybuilding at the time, and how I looked at myself in the mirror was not how other people looked at me. And I think...
Did it ever manifest in eating disorders or anything? Or just being hyper crazy with your diet?
Nah. I had an eating disorder when I was younger, like after my parents got divorced when I was like 9, 10, or 11, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it had. I wouldn't poop. It was weird. I like restricted that, so I just wouldn't eat.
What was it? Why did you think...
A control thing. My life was so out of control. The only thing I could control was my own bodily functions.
Weird.
Yeah, so it manifested in like I just would like intentionally like not eat and then really constipate myself. It was very weird. Like and then my gut would like leak and like poop into my own self, and then like I was known for like pooping on myself. It was not a good time in my life. Like I've mentioned many times before, very interesting.
Some things never change.
Damn it, you're right. I do wonder what type of damage that did actually do to me.
Do to you?
Do. But
you said doo.
So yeah,
that's funny. I mean, not funny. It's not funny, but it's funny looking back. You know.
Well, one thing I've seen that happens with in the disabled world is their sexuality evolves. Sometimes they'll. I think the big problem is when people are too picky, because the truth is you can find another person in a wheelchair who's DTF. You can find like a heavier person. You can find a trans person. You can find a gay person. Like if you're trying to get your nut, you can get your nut. Like you just lower your standards.
That needs to go on a t-shirt. You can get your nut. You just need to lower your standards. God damn. That's true, man. That's so true.
I mean, you can go to a strip club. You can get a prostitute. There's a million different reasons why. I mean, there's places in Canada, you might not know this, where actually sex workers are like given to you by the government. You get like
I heard about this.
You get 1 or 2 prostitutes a month. I forget who it is, and it's like sanctioned by the government. And it's more than just like they come and hump you. Like they actually like are very intimate with you. And you get like a huge, there's like a it's almost a proper relationship, kind of. It's like our
they're not really in it because they want to be there, in it because they're getting paid, but at the end of the day it is like an intimate relationship, and over time like maybe you have the same person that comes over all the time and all that.
They see it as
you're a regular.
They see it as a form of like therapy, because physical touch is also really important.
I mean, it's like you think about
like emotions, and you know the people who are like the prostitutes or the sex workers are probably polyamorous, meaning they can have many loves.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have a friend who's poly, and she has multiple boyfriends, and it's like I don't doubt.
I think about like porn stars too. They can have relationships. I mean, sometimes it's unhealthy, but a lot of times, you know, they're in normal relationships. I mean, it all kind of just boils down to like what you view as normal and what you're cool with and what you're accepting. And I think also like with people with, you know, in that world, it's like, what's the relationship between you and your therapist? It's like, does your therapist care for you? Yeah. Would he like still spend hours of time with you if he wasn't getting paid? Probably not. No. It's the same kind of deal. It's like, what's the relationship between it? And there's nothing wrong with a relationship also having a money factor in it. It just needs to be healthy, you know? And if I think it's a really great thing that Canada does that. I mean, yeah, I think really like the biggest question that is like, you know, is it healthy? Is that person that's needing those things, like, don't get it twisted. Like, don't fall in love with this person and then like get, you know, freak out when you're like, oh, I thought they really loved me. It's like, don't get it twisted. Like, they're there because they're getting paid, but also at the same time, it doesn't mean they don't necessarily not care for you or whatever.
Yeah. But I think kind of get back to your original question is like, sexuality is very fluid.
Yeah.
In the sense that like, and I'm also like this too, dude. I could give me enough time and I could make that roll of duct tape in the corner hot. You know, like I could get off on that duct tape. Like give me enough time. How much time are we talking? I don't know, man. If I'd look at it enough, if I'd like tape it on me enough, if I'd wrap it on me enough, I
like the feeling of it unsticking on me.
Seriously, I could give me enough time. I could get freaky enough that I would be sexually attracted to that duct tape.
Interesting.
But I mean, in the sense of,
I guess that's why people are like, you know, on those weird TLC shows, they're like, I have sex with my car, and you're like, what the hell?
Or the amusement ride people, the people that like all about, or like fences, they're into fences, you know? Yeah. You know, but it's seriously, it's like, again, it's like, you got to remember that like when you become disabled, your whole life's different, and you have to evolve with it. And, you know, you got to experiment and explore. I mean, I'll open about something that I know a lot of people know about, but there was a time where I was even like, maybe I'm gay. Like, I didn't know, because like no straight women were paying attention to me at all. I mean, granted, I was kind of I was in a bad part of my life. And I remember even like talking with some gay dudes and like hanging out with some gay dudes and like, you know, like spending some quality time with them. And like, and just being like, and then eventually I was like, no, I'm not gay.
You're like, I'm not
gay. But like,
hey, at least you tried it. At least you figured it out.
Yeah.
You know?
And
at least you know.
And then,
I think that's a testament to just like probably just how open you are and how like, you know, because I think a lot of guys are very, very.
I mean, I was lonely.
They're not comfortable. They're like not confident in their sexuality, so they're always trying to prove how like straight they are or whatever. And it's like, dude, I'm confident enough to like be like flirty with you or like say some super like gay shit to you or something. But we both know it's like super not like,
yeah,
you know. So at least you're confident in who you are and what you like and what you don't like now.
And it's one of those things that like I just had to explore myself and my body and my mind or whatever. And
that's
it's like,
good.
Definitely straight, and that's cool.
Very good.
And I don't have sex the way you have sex. I've got my way of having sex, but it's really pleasurable for everyone involved, and I think that's important. I think sexuality and sex is something that like everyone should have a good time. Hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want the full episode, you can click right here. If you want to subscribe, click here. If you want more clips, we got 2 more right over here.